Everybody knows who Gymshark is, right? But nobody fully understands how they got to where they are right now. Today, we're going to talk about how Gymshark exactly built a billion-dollar clothing empire. With, I personally think, is probably one of the most simplest marketing strategy that literally nobody fully talks about. So, what I basically did is I sorted through everything, ripped it apart, stole it, and applied it to one of my brands, and we made 73K in a single month from just ads alone. And revenue aside, like, we are seeing results that we've never seen before in terms of the actual community, the engagement, everything around the customers and how they interact with our brand is just on a different level. When I first started to work with clothing brands 4 years ago, I was so focused on just trying to run the best ads. Basically, media buying my way to sort of scale a clothing brand. Literally on the ad account, hustling every single day and spending hours on the ad account for no reason. But when I first started, what ended up happening was the low ROAS, burning my clients' cash through the ad account. But most importantly, the brand's revenue was just stagnant. What I didn't realize back then was the ad itself only probably made up around 10% of what actually makes a brand successful in terms of scale. And me sort of focused on trying to find the right people, trying to find the right interests, targeting, all of that was a complete waste of time. So what I basically did was I studied the best. And when I say best, I meant the top best brands in this industry, like Supreme, Gymshark, Cortez, everything. And to me, Gymshark was the one that actually stood out because of its simplicity. So what I basically did was I watched every single Ben Francis podcast, the owner of Gymshark, that you can possibly imagine. Literally researched every single post Gymshark had posted on Instagram, TikTok, and went through the ad library and just did this whole research. And quite frankly, I was fucking obsessed with Gymshark. After four months of just purely dedicating my life to Gymshark and its research, I came to a conclusion. I came to a conclusion that every single last bit of success Gymshark has produced is because of what I like to call the community ecosystem that they have built. And again, it's simple because it's literally just broken down into 3 main pillars. And the cool thing is, this probably works better if you're a small clothing brand owner. Till this day, we apply these systems, we apply these strategies that Gymshark has used to my other clients like Anna Michon, Pluto Golf, Flower, Brimmer, St. P, and many more, all to help scale past 7 figures. So, in this video, I'm gonna break it down for y'all and let's just get straight into it. This is gonna be fucking awesome because nobody in this industry has went into depth on how Gymshark operates. And the thing is, everybody, if you own a clothing brand, and 99% chance if you're watching this you know who Gymshark is, right? So today I'm going to talk about how they grew to a $1 billion empire, okay? And they use this thing, what I like to name it, a community ecosystem, because they didn't scale, you'll probably watch it, they didn't scale because they ran this amazing ad campaign. It was none of that. It was because of the community that they built early on, and they did this in a very unique way, okay? And again, there's 3 main pillars that I'm going to talk about today, which is the main acquisition of their growth. Pillar 1 is the branding ecosystem, okay? Pillar 2 is Gymshark's creator-driven growth model, and Pillar 3 is the acquisition retargeting loop. They didn't just run normal ads like on Facebook and stuff like that, okay? So let's go through it. Pillar 1 is branding ecosystem, okay? The thing you need to understand with everything in Gymshark's motto, in any type of community you're trying to build, loyalty is everything, okay? Again, you can't out-advertise a weak identity, okay? Gymshark didn't win with ads. They won because people felt like being a part of the brand meant something. And you probably heard this before, right? Oh, you got to build a good, audience identity, all that. But no, actually think about it, okay? Everybody thinks Gymshark blew up because they ran crazy ads or had a viral influencer. Well, this is true. They got influencers like David Lade, Sam Sulek now. But before, when they were, really rising up, they didn't have any of that, right? They didn't have the viral influences. It's only now they're able to be in the position because of the identity that they have built to attract those type of influencers, okay? Before Gymshark had $1 to spend on marketing, they had a mission, okay? This is the most important part, a mission, okay? Because, okay, if you have a mission, right, You basically sell an identity and you're not selling a clothes. And this is so important because if you wear Gymshark, you're basically listed as someone who is disciplined, who is focused, and who likes progress in life, right? And if you did not, right, this sort of translate into people with Gymshark, right? Meaning if anyone wants to be disciplined, if anyone wants to be focused, if anyone wants progress in life, they're going to go back to Gymshark, right? Because they have this massive identity that they're attached to these three key principles that is such a major factor in our life. This is really important if because for leverage, okay? And I'm going to explain, especially if you're a new clothing brand, because if we compete with our competitors on just clothes, we have zero leverage, okay? Think about it, right? If Gymshark was to go in and they sell gym clothes and they advertise that they sell gym clothes and it's for gym people, right? The market is super saturated, even back then, right? They're not going to be able to create any leverage. And it's the same from where your brand is. If you're a streetwear brand, a tennis brand, a golf brand, whatever it is, you need to separate yourself from just the product, but the overall value and identity that you're selling with it, okay? Somewhat of like a personal brand, right? Sometimes you like the people's content because of themselves. It's the same thing as a brand, okay? Again, so we have zero leverage because we have zero audience. We have the same features of the product, right? We can say it's better quality, stuff like that, but I do like a compression show is a compression show, right? Number three, competitors are more ad capital influence, meaning they're going to dominate your marketing in terms of the ad acquisition, right? And it's really hard to differentiate from big fish in your market that's already established, okay? Whereas if you differentiate yourself through your brand identity, right? This is sort of like what I like to call your unique mechanism, okay? It's your unique self. It's like, if you look at me as an example, you can't create another me. Okay. There's no other Daniel Cho out there that sort of act and think as I do. That's a unique mechanism of my personal brand, right? Same thing with if you give your brand identity, not just give, oh, I sell gym clothes to people who are competitive. But no, that's not an identity. An identity needs to solely just focus around your whole brand mission around it. So in terms of the creatives, in terms of the influences that you bring in and everything, which I'm going to talk about today, okay? Cool. If you differentiate yourself through your brand identity, you're going to get more of a clear, more niche ICP, giving them a reason to choose your brand over anyone else in the market. Okay, we're actually building leverage. Because think about it, if a gym brand, for example, in Gymshark's market was mainly just for competitiveness, right? But Gymshark sold clothes with discipline, focus, progress, we're going to catch the whole loop of people who are maybe not competitive bodybuilders and stuff like that, right? Just getting that whole gym community in it at once, right? To Gymshark, which is a major factor in this market, okay? Number two is leverage and market separation. Creating your own market. Gymshark is by itself, right? In terms of gym. If you think of gym, right, in gym products, gym clothes, you think of Gymshark now, right? The reason they're able to create that own market is because of the mission that they pushed out every single day, okay? Builds community over a regular clothing brand, okay? We're not just, we're not a pop-up store that just sells clothes, right? We're building a community, and the reason they built this massive fucking community here is, again, each individuals here, every single influencer, every single customer you see, all stand for this. Goes back to the identity, again, who we are. Every single friend we make, there's a reason why they're our friend. It's because, they like our personality or something, right? We need to give them value to be friends, right? That's the same thing. The value is what they stand for, okay? Pillar number two. This is really, 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 really important because I don't think a lot, like probably 95% of brands that are scaling to 10K a month don't even think about this. This is what I like to call Gymshark's creator-driven growth model, okay? An ecosystem of influencers, but I'm going to say an ecosystem of loyal customers is far more better than running shitty paid ads, okay? Remember the identity part in pillar one? What they didn't try and go for big net influence from the start. What they did was content decentralization, okay? Let me explain. They turned fans and customers into marketers, okay? So these people, right, these customers basically made content for them, this UGC content, humanized the brand, okay? So instead of going down the route of the original influencer marketing where you sort of reach out to already established, not brand owners, but influencers, right, through cold email, cold DMs, etc., what Gymshark did is they just flipped it, right? Because number one, they had such a strong identity, right? Instead of them pushing clothes, they pushed identity, right? That's number one. Number two, the reason why they were able to get not a lot of customers, but some customers, well, those customers really, really were loyal customers because what Gymshark stood for in its identity was so powerful. That's why this works, okay? And you have to understand why this works, okay? Customer is already that ideal. So ICP stands for, if you don't know, stands for ideal custom profile. The reason they bought the product in the first place is because the identity. ICP attracts more ICP, okay? For example, let's just say you sell a professional golf clothes, right? If Tiger Woods wear that, then ideally more golfers going to wear it, right? It's the same ICP attracts other ICP. More professional golfers are more intended to wear that product, okay? Number two, it builds community and relationship with customer, increasing lifetime value, plus customer feels special being a part of something big. Imagine this, right? It's like a customer that buys from your new brand because they find your identity really unique in the market and really special, okay, which it should, right? And you reach out to them, and they buy your product, and you reach out to them saying, hey, thank you for buying, I want you to join our special community, make our content, we'll post you about it, stuff like that. They're going to feel really special, right? Because again, the benefit of using a customer is not leveraging a customer is you don't need upfront payment on like the big name influencers who are going to need shit tons of dollars and not going to give you much content because they think they're top shit, right? They don't have any, fair enough, because they don't have any reason to put effort into your brand, right? They have 100,000 followers, you're just 300 followers, right? Doesn't make sense, right? So use your customers when you're first starting out in terms of making content. Your customers are going to make your best fucking content for you if you have the identity part right. I can kid you not, okay? Because it's free, okay? They can pump out many content as you want and they'll feel the benefit of it, okay? There's 4 main benefits. It humanizes the brand. Your focus should not be trying to get big names, in your niche that you're never going to get anyways, right? Reaching out to celebrities, all that, waste of time. You're going to get far more leverage with high quality content volume, demonstrating different faces and product utility. No one cares if you have like different faces and they're not celebrities. That's far more valuable, right, than having a big name celebrity just have it once. And that's when your brand dips and the hype's gone after 3 months because Justin Bieber couldn't wear your brand again, okay? Number 2, content speed. The ability to produce content at a fast rate for these customers is good, especially if you have a lot of them, right? 10 loyal customers who can just make a photo for you or shoot a photo for you, shoot a video for you, UGC content that you can post and maybe lose for ads. It's going to be huge. Volume and consistency, because again, customers are going to cycle like this, okay? And that means if more customers come, more content's going to come. And if we keep that loop where those content attracts more ICP, right, we just have this never-ending chain where we just get an infinite amount of customers. And it sort of builds off each other because seeing other people be a part of the community, be a part of your brand, who enjoys your brand, is huge. And they want to be a part of it. And that might be a reason why they actually buy your product, to be a part of this community, okay, to join this identity, whatever identity you're focused on, right? Because people don't just buy clothes. They like to be in communities. They like to be in part of winning communities, okay? Now, Pillar 3 is the acquisition retargeting loop, okay? This is very interesting because they flip-sided this, okay? Most people just go from product development, right? This is how most people start their brands and think they're going to make millions, okay? They make products, they post a couple times on Instagram, maybe make those cool fucking sick reels, and they try researching on YouTube how to run these ads and stuff like that, and they fucking give up and go nowhere, okay? Let's look at Gymshark's overview. First, they dial down a fucking really, really good identity in their market back at that time. Okay, not just gym. They sell gym clothes, yes, but they weren't trying to find gym goers. They were trying to find people who were, let me go back to it, right? The 3 pillars: discipline, focus, and likes progress in their life. Okay. Number 2, they use their ever-ending customer, even if it was smaller at the time, right, to attract more customers, using them as a main content source because of the capital of the, I guess, the end, sort of relating back to it, to use in the acquisition, which I'm going to talk about in this pillar, okay? Your ads aren't the beginning of the funnel. This is the main thing I want you to understand. Your ads is not the one that's going to scale your brand to 10K. Well, I can guarantee if you don't have an identity, if you don't have anything built up already, you're not going to scale beautifully. You're not going to scale to 20, 30. You're not even going to scale to 10K with just ads alone. I can promise you that, okay? The ads, like Gymshark, are the amplifier of your ecosystem. Once you have some cash flow, once you have a strong community built around, okay? The main thing you need to understand is Gymshark never treat this as a sales tool. They treat this as an invitation to join the community. So the acquisition wasn't, obviously it was to get the dollar, right? But it wasn't sales. It was to join our community of already people that's in it just like you, right? That content, ads, brand experience, most importantly, all felt consistent, okay? That's why they paid traffic, converted so easily, and there was no sales friction, okay? So I'm gonna go into the Gymshark paid ads funnel. Okay, so obviously we have a top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel, the basic stuff, right? Okay, so let's explain Gymshark's top of funnel stuff, okay? Three main things, okay? Influencer content, the organic reels that they've got from their customer, they've actually used that and repurposed it and distributed through TikTok, not TikTok, in the future as well, but when they first started, mainly through Instagram and the other popular social platforms, okay? Number two is humanized content for specific ICP, sort of relying on those ICPs, those UGC content sort of hand on hand together to attract more ICPs, right? So that is the top funnel content. Community build out on how they actually treated their customer, how they treated their followers, how they treated people who respected their mission and identity, right? That community that they're building around, because once they built that strong identity, that strong community, it was way easier to attract more people just like that, okay? Which sort of goes hand on hand with identity. Number two is the middle of funnel content, okay? Three main things. Number one is paid acquisition on the specific product, okay? I shouldn't use the red pen on the red thing, but paid acquisition on the specific product, still selling identity attached to the product, okay? Number two, they pushed out storytelling of the brand, okay? Not just, hey, we sell this cool tank top, we have this cool mission, fucking buy from us. No, they still had to storytell in terms of everything, right? And what I mean by storytelling is the storytelling of their identity, okay? Not just through the products. Super important to understand. And last importantly as well, storytelling from other influencers with the same goal as Gymshark. Hearing stories from athletes, hearing stories from gym goers. And just because, again, let's sort of go back to the identity, right? This is super important. This is why Gymshark probably has the best middle funnel content ever. Discipline focus. Hearing stories from other athletes, right, that are super disciplined, that had a hard life going on, whatever it is, hearing stories from other people that are focused, who love progression anyway in the sporting world, right? And sort of tying it to Gymshark, right? Which builds a massive bottom funnel. And from the bottom funnel, which leads to sales, all they have to do, right, is social proof and review on products for the trust acquisition, upsell, cross-sell for higher AOV, and offers. Just that little push at the end, because this did all the selling, and this attracted the right type of people that would really resonate with the storytelling. That's it. That is how they did it, okay? Now, many clothing brands put all the attention on just the ads, okay? The media buying aspect to make the brand successful. If you're in a position where you have nothing going for yourself with your small clothing brand, and you're researching on YouTube and like stuff like that, good stuff, but I really want you to work on what Gymshark did with the top of funnel and middle of funnel stuff before you really get into it, okay? Because ads is not going to work, okay? It is an amplifier of an ecosystem, okay? But following Gymshark's funnel, we reverse engineered this process. We were able to hit, I wouldn't say 64, 73K in a single month, not because we had this secret media buying strategy, but because of these three things to sort of sum it up in this video, okay? Instead of positioning and competing our brand like everybody else, we positioned our identity just like Gymshark. Instead of we sell cool streetwear clothes, buy our hoodie, right? There's so many hoodies. We are a brand that embodies XYZ. For example, this hoodie embodies this. Instead of this product is this product. Don't talk about the features, talk about the value proposition, okay? Number two, in 2025, especially in the acquisition side, volume plus speed plus quality wins. So building out a content engine where we can really just rely on our customers to build out specific content was essential in providing us volume, quality, and speed content, okay? Number three, we reverse engineered the funnel Gymshark used, okay? Top of funnel for engagement and following, middle funnel of understanding what a brand really means from other storytelling aspects, and bottom funnel customers should already be in the buyer state and know who we are to sort of put that little edge, okay? So we put an offer to it, but our middle of funnel, right, did most of the selling here. And again, we did 73K from just the ads alone, okay? Cool. If you got some value from it, if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them through Instagram. But yeah, hope you guys got some value out of this.